So hi, this is my little tutorial on drawing hair. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a master by any means. I'm just wanting to show you basically what I do when I draw hair. So yeah, this is that. Real quick, I'm just gonna draw like some base heads so I can draw the hair on top. You know, as you do, you need a face first. Also, I've never really done a voiceover before, so this is my first time, and I'm using my phone, so we'll see how this goes. I'm just copying and pasting the head 4 times, so I have multiple bases. And my cat Ruby is coming to say hello. Hi! Hi, babe. So now I draw the center part, and the left and right side part, and then the sides of the head. You just want to keep those in mind. So now there's girl hairstyles. That's what we're starting off with. So to draw bangs, this is going really quick, you want to do a swooping motion, and depending on, so you see how I have a left and right side of the bangs? All the hair sort of goes down from one point to another point. So that's not a very good explanation, but all the lines are coming from one point and then swooping outwards, and then going inwards at the end. So yeah, I just drew the hair real quick and then gave it a little base color. I'm just using blue because it's just easy, quick color. So for a second hairstyle, I decided to go with a more side part. That first one, the hair was separated more from the center. And when you do draw hair, sort of with like the first one, you want to draw like these triangles, but like rounded triangles. And then I always add just like some little extra hairlines within it. For sides, I just do like a solid color on the side. I guess you could add more texture and whatnot with cross-hatching and those sorts of things, but I just like a solid color. It looks nice. So this one I'm separating it from the center part again, but this one is actually going to be 2 little buns, which you can use sort of the same design if you want to do ponytails, which actually I forgot to draw when I recorded this. But you can just do the same thing for ponytails. So you draw like a little cloud shape like I did there, and you just kind of connect it to the base. Again, all the lines are coming from one central point. So you're sort of coming out from there because the hair is like bunched up. Same with the hair on the head, it goes up to that point, it's pulled back from the face. So yeah. And then, you know, I like to add just a couple of extra like little hairs around because it's like, you know, kind of messy bun, that sort of deal. So now moving on to the 4th and final girl hairstyle. This one I wanted to do a bit longer since the other hairstyles are a bit shorter. And for this, same thing. Like, hair is always kind of from one point to another, and it either goes out or in. I know that's a really weird way of explaining it, but for this girl, she's got kind of curly hair. You can also see I also drew, like, her bangs in the front. They sort of flip up a little bit. So you draw, like, a little hairline there that's a bit thicker, since you're seeing the underside of the hair. And yeah, she's just got like long, kind of wavy, kind of straight, weird hair. So I just color that one in too. The little mistake I did make is behind the right ear, or her left, I suppose. You can see here I erase it, but sometimes your brain goes, hey, you know, that should be there, like you should see it, but you should, because her hair's like not that poofy, so it tucks behind her ear more, so I just fix that. And then I go back and I add a couple of like extra hairs around, because it, you know, adds a little bit more detail. So now we continue on to the guys. So for guys, I start out the same way. You always start from that little part So for this dude, I'm going from left to right. And he's getting sort of like a fluffy, long center hair, and then I'm gonna give him shaved sides. Sort of like Cody from Set It Off, or other people that have that sort of hairstyle. For this guy, I'm basically giving him sort of the same style, shaved sides, but this time his center is poofed up. He's got a lot of hair gel in there. So you can see it's all sort of curved up. The lines I make for the top hair, it curves out, sort of as I show here. So hair on the right side curves up to the left, and then vice versa. And then for the first one I'm showing there, it sort of makes like a sort of almost candy cane shape, and it swoops downwards from that hairline. And then I just colored that in real quick, and now we're moving on to the next one. This guy's got a bit longer hair, and I didn't shave his side. You just kind of draw those swoopy triangles. And for longer hair like that, you want it to swoop downwards, sort of as I show here. But you want to invert it sometimes, so you have like hair triangles going the other way. It makes it seem a bit more realistic, but gravity is like, it's pulling down on the hair, you know? And then for this guy, I parted it in the center, so I gave him a bit of a Milo look, you know, from Atlantis. So he's getting just a bit longer hair, parted from the center. Color in with the base color, same as the others. So that's the final of the boys. We're moving on to our sort of final bit, curly hairstyles. So for this, I honestly, it feels a bit rude to say, but I don't really draw afros and stuff much, but I do like to draw curly hairstyles. It's mainly just a bunch of squiggles, kind of, but with purpose, you know? So I do them in sort of little bunches, as you can see. Or you can do like I do here, where you do the outline, and then you just fill it in with some squiggles. It depends on kind of what you want. I mean, art's up to you. Also to note, I tried to leave a lot of this, like, the base speed with a little bit of speed up, because I want you to be able to see, like, what I'm doing. For this, I just made the skin tone darker, using a dark brown and the multiply tool, so you'd be able to see the lines underneath. Then of course, adding some stray hair. I then realized that I should probably put the skin tone on the other ones. So now I'm trying to do a bit of like an afro, but I don't really draw afros, but I thought I should at least attempt it to show you. Of course, use references. I don't think I mentioned that prior, but for all of these, I had references open on my computer screen. Always use references. Like, to be honest, they're super handy. And then a lot of them in afros, typically the hair comes out from behind the ears, and it's just very floofy, sort of circular shaped. But in this one reference I had, she had sort of like you could see that her bangs were a little bit separate from the rest of the afro. So that's kind of what I tried to do here. I don't think I really did a good job, but I tried. And then again, just adding stray little curly hairs around the edge, making it look more afro-y, fluffy. Now on to the next one. For this one, I wanted to do a bit of a curly hairstyle, but with like a shaved side. So again, it's just sort of squiggly lines. You get those little triangle-shaped ends to show the strands of hair. For a lot of hairstyles, you can show the ears, which I realized I did in a lot of these, but for this one I actually covered the ear. So don't be afraid to just like cover up what you've already drawn, it's all cool. And then, you know, gave her the cool little side shave. A lot of hairstyles are like that these days. I thought it looked cute, so you can always just, you know, add more hair. So that's 3 down, and now I'm doing the last one, and you can see that I drew those like little lines, so that I have an idea of the part. I try to do that. This is personally kind of my favorite curly hairstyle, is when you have that poofy center and the shaved sides. I think it's a really cute look. It's like a partial afro. It's just cool. So that's what I did here. I then realized I gave her a little bit too big of a forehead. You can have that, but I thought it looked weird, so fix that. So now we're on to our last bit, the most exciting one. So I just went back to those original hairstyles I did, and then I just added a base blonde layer. I'm using my personal pencil tool that I made myself, using some tutorials online. You can see the settings on the left if you want to use it. For the shave sides, I like to do the side a bit darker than the rest and then have it like blend out. I think that's just a cool style, just how I draw it. You don't have to do that. For the center one, I gave her darker brown hair, and for the right one, she has sort of a, you know, orangey bright hair. Here I accidentally hit overlay, and I realized I didn't like it, so I just used normal colors and I like lowered the opacity a little bit so you could see the lines under it. For shading, I like to use purple as a pretty common color to use for shading, and I like to do it in thin strands. I could have used a smaller brush than I did here, and maybe I should have, but I like to be able to sort of see the sort of strands, you know, like it's not a solid block of color. It's sort of tapered at the ends. And of course this all can change depending on your light source and stuff. For this, I didn't really have a light source. I maybe should have done that, but I just wanted to show you like the general idea. Of course, hair that's closer to the scalp or underneath or behind the head, that's going to be a bit darker, like on the bottom left here. It's a bit darker there. So now I've got the purple in, I just go ahead and hit multiply, lower the opacity a little bit, you know. And then if you wanted, you could use an even thinner brush and go in and add some extra strands and stuff. I didn't do that here, but, you know, you could. And then, in order to do highlights, I take the original hair color, lighten it a bit, and then go over top. Basically, opposite the shadows, but not everywhere. You just want to get those general highlights. So that way you have a dark, mid, and highlight tone. For this I just use overlay. I like to do that a lot for highlights, and then lower the opacity just a little bit so it just like, so it looks right. You can always add another layer of highlights in order to make it a bit brighter, depending on what your character's doing, what setting they're in, if it's like super bright or something, you know? For this one, I just wanted to give her like kind of an anime hair, you know? So I made it a bit more of like solid color with those stereotypical like highlight lines. You can always do that too. Like, it looks cool, you know? And I, you know, kept the blue hair. So that's basically what I do when I draw hair. That's how I do the bases and the shadows and whatnot, and there you go. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you watched this entire thing, congrats. I didn't mean for it to get this long, but I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing, and if I made it a lot quicker, you couldn't really catch it, so yeah, this is just what I do. I hope it helps, and have a good day.